on Drive, I have serious concerns about the safety of our residents, families, and children with the increasingly heavy traffic and no sidewalks. There was a recent study done, I believe, by the city showing that an average of 3,700 vehicles a day pass on Cimarron. And that's a main road outlet. However, it encompasses so many sections up by Cochise, Camachi, the Sanctuary. There is no other way out except for Cimarron. Bike riders, as myself, dog walkers, runners, residents going for walks, and school children waiting for the school bus are in serious danger along Cimarron Drive. Vehicles speeding down the straight stretch of Cimarron past the curb and even speeding along the curb. As a bike rider, the danger of the broken street pavement along the grass line makes it very difficult to keep to the left when vehicles speed alongside you without slowing down. As more families with school children waiting for the school bus, as we're getting more families in, there's danger with them playing in the street, running on the properties, and running up and down, playing ball. In fact, I had an incident in front of my house, and I spoke to the parents, and everything is okay, but they're just all over. I believe sidewalks, speed bumps, and speed monitors along Cimarron Drive are necessary for the protection of our residents, families, and children. Mr. Mayor, I ask that you and the City Council take serious consideration in this matter. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, sir.
Good evening, George Mayo, Pond Coast. The previous gentleman just spoke about a gun show and signage and whatever. Previously, driving on Belterre and other streets, I've seen many signs put up for gun shows. Nothing against that, but they're placed in areas where real estate, open house, garage tag sale signs have not been allowed, and at times have been removed by the city because they're placed in places that are not allowed. I would hate to see any one specific group or business or company or gathering be able to put up signs where others are not. That seems to be hard-handed and not allowing anybody else to do so. I don't think it would be right to allow them to do that. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other speakers? Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening. Joe Runak, 7 Courtney Court. I would just like to reiterate what Mr. Stencils mentioned regarding the cell phone tower application for 7 Clubhouse Drive. I have spoke to the council before on this. I'd like to welcome the new city council members, make them understand this is an inappropriate spot for the cell phone tower. We do not know how this spot was picked out. I have been trying to communicate with Miss Estelle Lenz, whose card was given out at the original meeting regarding the tower. She has notified me that at this point the cell phone tower application is incomplete. We don't know any other information than that as residents, taxpayers, and homeowners in the area who will be directly affected by this tower. We frankly would like some resolution on this. We have hired outside attorney, the same attorney that was successful in the previous attempt to put a cell phone tower up on the golf course, and we feel that this is a worse spot. There is a retirement home. There are businesses directly underneath this tower if it is put up, a bicycle shop, a very busy convenience store. There is a bus stop with children at 7 Clubhouse Drive. The firehouse is directly across the street, would be less than very minimal not even 100 yards from this new tower. I understand that the firehouse is to be renovated. No one knows for sure either way whether cell phone towers are healthy for you or not healthy for you. As it is now, we exist and are very happy in our area. We feel this would be a huge imposition. This is not the right spot for this tower to be put up. We would like to know that the City Council, current members and new members, are on the lookout for us, that as residents, taxpayers, and homeowners in the city of Palm Coast, our needs, we feel, come first. As far as an out-of-town, New Jersey-based, for-profit cell phone tower company, their needs have to come a distant second or even beyond that. And I would ask the City Council to consider this carefully as far as, again, health issues. There has been some new studies made on this. The location is entirely too close to residences and businesses in the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker, please. Yes, sir.
Steve Carr, Palm Coast. I'd like to welcome the new members that will be sworn in later. There's much work to be done, especially in District 2, where a residential street is being used to exchange traffic between two parkways, the Palm Coast Parkway and the Palm Harbor Parkway. When traffic increases on either one of them, traffic increases on Florida Park Drive. Florida Park Drive records have showed that approximately 9,000 cars per day, just 60 feet from the bedrooms of children, just 80 feet from the basketball courts of Holland Park. That's over 3 million cars per year in a residential neighborhood. 30-plus years of studies by health organizations and universities have proven the harm to children and the elderly from close proximity traffic to homes and prolonged exposure to traffic fumes. Many of the scientific studies' facts prove the homes within 50 meters, which is 164 feet. And these reports are coming from WHO, CDC, EPA, NLH, and many other health organizations. One of the reports says lung function in early life has been shown to be an important predator for peak lung function in adults and later decline. Reduced lung function per se is associated with increased morbidity and mortality. Ask yourself, what is a child's health really worth? If you focus on that question and that question alone, and ignore all the outside interferences, I'm sure you'll find a solution to the problem. Outside interferences such as, well, if we fix Florida Park Drive, it'll set a precedent. Cut-through drivers will have to drive a little further. Accessibility to some of the homes might not exist. 170 homes, there's approximately 340 voters. Cut-through drivers are 9,000 voters. Children can't vote, so they depend on adults to protect them. What is a child's health worth? That is the focus. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Greg Blasset, President and CEO of the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber. Didn't plan on speaking this morning, but I heard a couple of residents, of which I am a resident. I'm a taxpayer. I own a business in the city. I run a business in the city, and I just came from the Flagler Broadcasting Radio Holiday Party, and this subject came up, the cell phone tower subject. And one of the business leaders at that meeting said, "Tell me when the meeting is so I can show up and speak out in support of it." You can't drive across this town and hold a conversation on Palm Coast Parkway or Belterre. This is a huge safety issue. I was here a few months ago, and the engineers sat in that chair and told us exactly why the location was chosen, both because of the land restrictions and also because of the gap in coverage. So if you need those answers, I would encourage people to go check YouTube. The simple matter is this: in a couple of weeks, it's going to be 2023, and you cannot drive across this town and make a cell phone call and keep it. It's crazy. So to the folks who oppose the cell phone tower, here's what I'll say. I'll say that the location doesn't matter to me, but this will be the second time that we've shot down, maybe shot down, I don't know, see what the votes are, but this is the second time we're talking about a location for a cell phone tower that's needed, if for no other reason, to do business, for safety, communication. And the proposed cell phone tower literally would be visible from my office window, which I don't have a problem with. I don't live there, but here's what I would say to the council and to the new members that are being sworn in tonight. If it's not this location, I think we owe the residents and the business owners in this community an answer as to where the location will be, because nobody wants to be negatively impacted by a cell phone tower. I get that. But at the end of the day, these important pieces of public infrastructure must go somewhere. And the fact that it gets me worked up, honestly. I get a little worked up because of how bad it is for a city of this size. So I'll continue to show up and to encourage y'all to find a location or vote in support of a location where the cell phone tower can be located, because it's desperately needed. And it's not only this one. We got a lot more work to do. It's not just this one. So thank you for your time and consideration, and congratulations to the election winners.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other members of the public who would like to address City Council at this time? Seeing no one come forward, I will accept that comment, and it was well under the 3 minutes, so we appreciate that very, very much. Probably one of the nicest comments I've had lately. I will close the public comment section of this meeting. We will move down the agenda to the minutes. I would be looking for a motion regarding the minutes of the City Council meeting held November the 15th, 2022, a business meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Dankel to approve. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Finelli has seconded the motion. Is there any additional discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Does the clerk have the count?
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Now we will move on to our one very important proclamation this evening. Without much more fanfare than has already been spread throughout the media, it is our pleasure as a city of Palm Coast, and my personal pleasure this evening as your mayor of the city of Palm Coast, to proclaim the following. Whereas Paul Renner, a resident of Palm Coast, serves as state representative to District 24 in the Florida House of Representatives, and whereas Representative Renner was first elected to the Florida House of Representatives on April the 7th, 2015, representing Flagler, St. Johns, and Volusia counties, and whereas Representative Renner is a military veteran, former prosecutor and business attorney who began his legal career as an assistant state attorney, and whereas Representative Renner has served both active duty in the reserves, receiving numerous commendations and awards, and whereas in September of 2021, Representative Renner was selected by the House Republican Conference to serve as Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives, from November 2022 through November 2024. Whereas on September the 20th, 2021, the Florida House formally voted for Representative Paul Renner to be the next Speaker of the House. And whereas on Tuesday, November the 22nd, 2022, Representative Paul Renner was formally installed as Speaker of the House during the organizational session. And whereas the City of Palm Coast appreciates the support and participation of Representative Renner in many city events and initiatives, and whereas the City of Palm Coast values the drive and determination Representative Renner shows to maintain the principles that make our community great. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the City of Palm Coast, that the Mayor and the City of Palm Coast Council do hereby recognize Paul Renner as Speaker of the House of the Florida Representatives. Signed this 6th day of December 2022 by myself and the City Clerk. So with that, I would ask for a round of applause for Speaker Renner. Speaker Renner is already extremely hard at work. I think many of you know the daunting task that he has before him to collaborate our state and to help us move forward. But he has sent his most dependable representative here this evening. So if you would say a few words.
Good evening. While Speaker Renner could not be here today, he sincerely thanks you for this recognition. He is looking forward to the next 2 years of service in the Florida House representing his community of Palm Coast and greatly appreciates the dedicated work by the Palm Coast City Council. While Speaker Renner will preside over the entire chamber of the Florida House, he is still your representative. As his district aide, I look forward to working with you on his behalf. Thank you.
This certainly is the first time in the history of our city and the history of our county that we are fortunate and blessed to have a Speaker of the House of Representatives of our state, and likely will be a long time before we see it again. So I hope you will all wish him well, in good health, his family, to help him help our community move forward during his term. So thank you all. Our next item on this evening's agenda will be resolutions. If council would please read G3 into the record.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. This is a resolution regarding the general election certification, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Coast, Florida, providing for the acceptance and certification of the results of the November 8th, 2022 general election for the City of Palm Coast as canvassed and reported by the Flagler County Canvassing Board for the said elections, providing for a determination as to the winning candidates in each race, and providing for an effective date.
Councilor, this is an administrative item that we will be voting on?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And is there need for public comment on this item?
Yes?
Okay. Then I will first bring up to City Council. Any discussion on the item?
Nothing besides a congratulations and also a tip of the hat to the candidates who were successful in their running of the campaign. I agree. I would also like to thank Katie Leinhardt, our supervisor of elections, for running another tremendous election, and her staff. They do the hard work, and I'm appreciative of everything they're doing, and congratulations to the new representatives.
Very good.
I think Councilman Kloufis said it very well. Thank you.
The only thing I would ask before I open up for public comment is if City Manager can identify, we had one or more individuals working very hard on this process, spending untold hours, and I'd like them to be noticed.
Yes, Mayor. Our city clerk, our deputy city clerk, and a team of employees always work towards a successful outcome, and that relationship already referenced is deeply appreciated from the supervisor of elections as well.
Very good. All right, thank you for that. With that said, are there any comments on, from the public on this item on the agenda at this time? Yes, sir.
Ed Fuller, Palm Coast. Honorable Mayor Alphen, Honorable Nick Lufus, Honorable John Finelli, Honorable Ed Danko. I just want to celebrate one of our biggest democratic principles that we have in this country, the peaceful transition of power. We had a fair and honest and deliberate election. And I want to congratulate all the candidates who ran. But we're making history here tonight. We make history a lot in Palm Coast, and I hope people take the time to realize what kind of history we make here. But the biggest thing is, it is a peaceful transition. There's no, I didn't hear anybody yelling at the candidates who won and, it was dishonest, Katie Lenhart. No, that didn't happen. We have a great supervisor of elections. We have city clerk. We have the supervisor of elections. We have people looking over each ballot meticulously. And I just want everybody to know, this is what makes our democracy great. This is why we live in this country. And this is what really America is all about. And I congratulate the new honorable councilwomen that are going to be announced here. And I want to thank them, and I wish them the wisdom of Solomon, the patience of St. Teresa, and the perseverance of St. Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the speaker. Let me make note to the speaker that there was a very enthusiastic applause from the fourth row on the right-hand side. And still going. Very good. All right, with that, are there any other members of the public that would like to address City Council on this agenda item at this time? Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment section of this item. Coming back to City Council, are there any final comments or discussion regarding the item? I would ask City Council for a motion.
Move approval.
I have a motion to approve the item from Councilman Finelli. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second from Councilman Clufus. Is there any additional discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Does the clerk have the count?
Yes, 4-0, thank you.
Thank you. We move on to agenda item letter H next, which is our consent agenda. Are there any members of the first of all, is there any discussion by City Council before I open to the public?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Are there any members of the public that would like to address our consent agenda this evening? Seeing no one approach, I will close public comment, come back to the dais. Are there any final comments from City Council? I would ask for a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Danko to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilman Finelli. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing no additional discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Does the clerk have the count?
Motion passes 4-0,
Thank you.
thank you.
We move down now to that moment that many have been waiting for, which is the seating of newly elected council members and the organizational items that make this happen. Before we begin the oath of offices, which will occur just momentarily, I would reach out. Vice Mayor Branchino is unavailable. He doesn't have a connection to be able to attend the meeting this evening. But I would reach out to our friend and colleague, Councilman Finelli, and ask if he might have some final words. Not final words. Let me rephrase that. I said that in front of your mom and dad, and I sincerely apologize. If he has some remarks that he would like to share with our audience and those that may be listening on our line or are community as a whole. We would very much like to hear your comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I did prepare some farewell remarks. So. Good evening. As I reflect back on the past 9 months as a Palm Coast City Councilman, I must say it has been quite an experience. I have read thousands of pages of agendas, attended numerous community events, met with many community members, participated in the city budgeting process, met weekly with our city manager, and spent an inordinate amount of time researching my decisions. My hope in doing all of this was to leave the city just a little bit better than I found it for future generations to come. I want to thank all of our citizens of our amazing community. You welcomed this interim councilman with open arms. It was your encouragement and positive comments that continuously drove me to give 110% at all times. This position is one that requires thick skin and confidence in your decision-making abilities. Your continuous reassurance was comforting. My decisions never came easy to me, and I'm glad that they didn't. I weighed each one carefully and scrutinized all of the details, always asking one question: what is in the best interest of the citizens of Palm Coast? To my fellow council members, although at times we may not have agreed, the conversations for the most part remained collegial, and we were able to work through our disagreements to make some difficult decisions. One thing that I can truly say about all of you is that you all have a deep love for our beautiful city. It has been my great honor and pleasure to work alongside each of you. To our mayor, you are a leader who stands out and is not afraid to make difficult decisions. Your pride for our great city resonates in everything that you do. Thank you for your countless hours that you have spent striving to make our city the best city it can be. To our sheriff, our past fire chief, and our present fire chief, and all of our first responders, I will never lose a moment of sleep worrying about the safety of our community. You are a dedicated and professional group of heroes. Thank you for risking your lives on a daily basis to protect and serve our community. To our city manager, assistant city manager, chief of staff, council attorney, directors, and all of the amazing individuals employed by the city of Palm Coast, your love and pride for our great city shines through in all that you do. The days may be long and the work may be hard, but you always give it your all and do so with a smile on your face. It is a testament to this incredible place that we all call home. To my parents, thank you for raising me with the courage to do what is right and not what is easy, for always encouraging me no matter what I set my mind to. Your endless love and support has always been there, and it helps me to stand tall with pride in everything I do. To my wife, Joelle, who has battled cancer this past year while I've been on the council. You are my rock. You are the toughest woman I know. Whenever I felt that I had it tough, all I had to do was look at what you were going through and how you never let you get you down. The grace you showed through this past year has humbled me. I love you very much, and God has blessed you with a cancer-free diagnosis. Which means you are now stuck with me for years to come.
Councilman.
To my children, you are God's greatest gift to me in life. All I do for you. I love you, and I hope that I continue to make you proud for years to come. It has been my great honor and blessing to give back to a city that has given so much to me over the past 35 years. I hope that I have served with courage, integrity, and humility. I have just one ask as I leave the dais for the last time. I ask that everything we do, we ask ourselves this one question: what impact will the decisions we make today have on future generations to come? We must always remember that the city is only ours for the time being. It is imperative that these decisions are the best decisions for the future of our great city. May God continue to bless the city of Palm Coast. Thank you.
I'll give you just a second to catch your breath from all that you have said. So let me say, and I will speak on behalf of my colleagues, that from the deepest bottom of our hearts, we wish both you and Vice Mayor Branchino both health and success in everything you do. You have shown us a path. You have proven your worth. You have shown us that we together can collaborate and make a better future for the generations you spoke about. So we expect nothing less than to see you come back again and help our city in some way that you choose in the future. And again, we wish you good health and success to you and your entire family. And your folks should be very, very proud of their son. So again, I thank you. And one last round of applause, please.
Mr. Mayor, could I make a motion? I'm sure it's probably not legal, but can we add an extra seat to the council and appoint John to it for the next 2 years?
That is not legal, but it's a great idea.
All right, thank you.
It's a great idea.
We'll take that under advisement. Thank you, John.
Maybe the next workshop we can discuss it.
Now we will move forward with the administration of our
Newly elected council.
of the oaths of our newly elected council. So our clerk, Ms. Vanessa Smith, will lead us through the administrative process, and I think I'll join you.
Ms. Teresa Carly Pontieri, will you please join us at the podium? Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Teresa Carly Pontieri.
I, Teresa Carly Pontier,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the government of the United States
the Constitution and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
to hold office underneath the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of council member of the city of Palm Coast,
the duty of council member of the city of Palm Coast,
on which now I am about to enter,
on which now I am about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard. Thank you.
So I'll be quick, but I want to thank everybody for being here. There's been so much support. The outpour is incredible. A special thank you to John Finelli. I can attest after watching you for the last several months that you have in fact served with courage, integrity, and humility. So thank you for that. Thank you so much, especially to my family and my friends. My grandma is here in the crowd crying. We have a really strong stock, and you're a part of that. You made us like this. So I'm just so, the humility that it takes to run and then lead the way you should, I think is really important, and I plan on doing that for the city of Palm Coast. Thank you all so much for your just faith and encouragement through this process, and I look forward to serving you and serving you well and with strength and the integrity that it takes to do this job the right way. So thank you.
there. It's right there.
I get my first fist bump.
He's into the fish.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And Kathy Hyder, will you please join us at the podium? Kathy, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kathy D. Hyder,
I, Kathy D. Hyder,
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution
and the government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under
to hold office under
the Constitution of the state,
the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
of the city of Palm Coast,
of the city of Palm Coast,
of which I am now about to enter.
of which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Good evening, everyone. I would like to say that I am deeply humbled by being elected as one of your city council members. I am looking forward to serving this city and all of its people, my community that I love, and to the best of my ability to make sure that I will always be here for you, to listen, and to also be a voice for the community and those that trust me to be a part of our city council. I thank you so much.
You know, it really is a very exciting moment to be surrounded by a newly formed city council, which has every opportunity in front of it to make not just the present, but the future a heralded success throughout the entire state of Florida. So I couldn't be more proud and more excited about our new colleagues and all that we can accomplish. Look what we can all do if we work together. So congratulations to all of you.
Announce the item.
So we will now move on to a roll call for the newly seated council members. If the clerk would please call the roll.
Mayor Alford.
Present.
Councilmember Carly Pontieri.
Present.
Councilmember Danko.
Present.
Councilmember Hyder.
Present.
Councilmember Clufus.
Present.
All members are present.
You are now in the books. Very well done. We now move on to item number 8 under section J, which be to select the vice mayor for the 2022 through 2023 term. The precedent of mayor and the vice mayor in the past has been to look forward to longest serving, or perhaps those that have not served but have seniority on city council. So by consensus, do I have a selection in mind?
I would step in here and I would make a motion that Vice Mayor, or excuse me, that Councilman Danko would be nominated for Vice Mayor if those responsibilities are something you'd like to take on.
Good. Okay, I would ask, are there comments?
I would actually vote for Councilman Clufus to step in as vice mayor. I know he's had that seat before, so I would make a motion for Councilman Clufus to be vice mayor.
I would also nominate Councilman Clufus for the position as vice mayor.
Councilman Clufus, you made a motion, and we've received another motion. What is, give me some discussion.
That's tough discussion points here. The responsibilities as Vice Mayor, I think, have been laid out pretty well, and I think that there's nothing that is outside the bounds of what I believe our fellow council members capable of accomplishing. I think it sets a good precedence in many senses, and I think that historically speaking, that we have seen such development not only as individuals on this council, but in our unity, that I think it would be a good faith effort to continue on with restoring the original the intent behind Vice Mayor as being a rotating title. And I feel confident that Councilman Danko at this point is able to fulfill those duties.
I appreciate that. That's very nicely said. So with that, is there any additional discussion by City Council at this time?
I just want to thank Councilman Clufus for his support.
Okay, Councilman Danko, I haven't asked you yet. Are you willing to accept a nomination as Vice Mayor, understanding all of the requirements and all of the obligations and responsibilities that attend to that seat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that, I would, are we motioning for a vote?
Well, it's an election, so we have two possible candidates, so we need to go through and determine what the vote is. You can do
So
that.
I think Councilman Clufus has, correct me if I'm wrong, if you,
No correction, yep. Councilman Danko.
so the motion, you're not accepting the motion to serve?
So my motion is still on the floor. My motion remains
Okay.
for the nomination of Councilman Danko.
Does that satisfy you, Counselor?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, I would just go down the line. All those in favor of electing Councilman Danko as Vice Mayor for the upcoming year, just signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Okay, it's unanimous.
Excellent.
Okay, congratulations, Councilman Danko.
Very much.
And we move on to the City Council liaison appointments. These are to various service organizations for the fiscal year 2022 through 2023. If the clerk could review the, well, let me ask you this first. If you could review the currently held positions, and then I'm going to ask City Council members who currently hold those liaison positions if they are comfortable continuing or not.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor and City Council. Virginia Smith, City Clerk. So the past and current liaisons, I'll do the current liaisons for 2021, which is through 2022. Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, Councilmember Danko. Flagler Schools Oversight Committee, Mayor Alphen and Councilmember Clufus. The Juvenile Justice Circuit 7 Juvenile Justice Council is currently vacant. River to Sea Transportation, Mayor Alphen. SMA Healthcare, which is also formerly known as Stuart Marchman, Councilmember Clufus, St. John's River Water Management District, Vice Mayor Branquino, and held Tourist Development Council was also held by Councilmember Clufus.
So these are the current liaison committee assignments. The only proviso I would add that in future agendas, I will be calling on city council member liaisons to offer a update on their activities regarding the various committee assignments, and city manager will include those in agenda as she sees appropriate for the future. So let me go back to my question. Are there any current assignments that you would like to change? Let me start with you,
Yes,
Councilman
I'd like
Danko.
to change my present assignment and take over where Vice Mayor Branquino is at.
So would you restate that for us? Would the clerk restate that for us, please?
Sure. Councilmember Danko would no longer like to be the liaison on the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, and he would instead like to be the St. John's River Water Management District liaison.
Okay. Just by a show of...
That has my support, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. I would also
Councilman.
just, oh, I'm sorry.
Good.
Support that.
Okay, we'll make that change.
Yep. And if I may, I would like to continue my stay on the Tourism Development Council. I feel like I've been very effective on my tenure there, but it is pretty critical, and I understand the facets of it that are going into it right now. I think that might be a prudent step if I am allowed to stay on the Tourist Development Council. Most recently, we secured the, $800,000 grant from the county for the pickleball facility and the racket facility. I think that we're doing great things there, and I just want to kind of keep that ball rolling, if you guys are okay with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I support your efforts, and again, I will just ask that when you have such wonderful news, or any news, that you'll come back and report to us when it becomes an agenda item. I also will offer my service to continue working with our transportation planning organization. That's the organization that makes recommendations to the DOT on future funding of infrastructure and primarily roadway projects. I've recently been appointed to the executive committee of that organization, which is the first time that we've had a member from Flagler County on that executive committee, which we share with Volusia. So we now have a full seat at the table. I'm happy to continue with that. My previous experience with the Education Foundation, I think, leads me to continue with the Interlocal Agreement Committee. My understanding is we will have a meeting coming up in the not too distant future to decide how concurrency and get an update on how the schools are progressing. I would ask each of my fellow council members, are you okay with my continuing in those two capacities?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Does the clerk have that?
Yes, I do. I would like clarification for Councilmember Clufus that you no longer wish to serve on the Flagler Schools Oversight Committee, and the other one was the SMA Healthcare. So
I'm okay serving on both of those. I just, and I don't want to prioritize and say one's more important to me than the other. I just felt like the Tourist Development Council was one that I wanted to hold on to. If one of our new council members would like to have the opportunity to be the liaison to those committees, by all means, absolutely.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm sorry, if the clerk would just read the titles of those two committees. If the councilman's making a suggestion that we kind of spread the wealth, which I think is a really good form, I appreciate that very, very much. What are they?
sure, I can also give a description as well.
Please do.
So the Flagler Schools Oversight Committee, you're also on that board. It's the policy of the state to require the coordination of planning between boards and local governing bodies to ensure that the plans for the construction and opening of public educational facilities are facilitated and coordinated in time and place with plans for residential development concurrently with other necessary services. The other one was SMA Healthcare. The SMA Healthcare meets once per month. You would need to appoint one. They would prefer that you have their mission statement at your heart. So the SMA mission statement is SMA Healthcare transforms lives through exceptional substance abuse, mental health, and primary care services. And this would also require not just council's appointment, but it would also require the board of SMA to approve your appointment.
So if I could ask our new council members, do either of you have a passion for either of those two opportunities?
I would be interested in the SMA healthcare.
I would be happy to serve on the Schools Oversight Committee, but I'd also really like to serve on the Juvenile Justice Committee. So if Councilman Clufus would like to stay on the Schools Oversight,
Nope, I'll take it over, absolutely, now
Okay.
enjoy.
happy to take that over.
So we have Councilmember Hyder, SMA, and Councilmember Pontieri will be Juvenile Justice and ILA.
Yes.
Do I have it correct?
Yes, that's, yeah, I'm keeping a running
good.
list too.
Let
We
me
just
just
have
get-
one more committee. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, let me just get a nod from everybody. We're all in agreement? Councilman? We're all in agreement? Very good, thank you.
I think at the end, Mayor, if I may, sorry to interrupt, we'll just list each one and who the appointee is, and then we'll do a motion and a second and a vote. So I think that'll
All in
clear
one shot,
everything
good.
out. All in one
Okay.
shot, yeah. So I think we have one more left that we
Yes.
need a head nod on.
Okay.
So the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee meets monthly, and they call special meetings as well. The council needs to appoint one. This advisory body makes recommendations to the Flagler County Board of County Commissioners regarding specific initiatives to encourage or facilitate affordable housing in Flagler County. In addition to the council liaison, the city appoints a resident of the city of Palm Coast to this advisory board under the following categories: a citizen representing essential service personnel and a representative residential home building industry. So every vacant seat for those two are rotated with the city. As you all know, we've appointed to that as well. So this would also be one council member appointment.
Very good. The Councilmember Hyder has indicated a desire to serve that seat. Does that meet with everyone's approval here? I can't thank you enough. I have served previously as the chair of that committee for the county and also for our local citizens task force advisory committee, which is sort of an offshoot of that. So I commend you for stepping forward on that. I can't think of a more important discussion for the future, so thank you for that. Now, at the councilor's request, I guess we could have one motion if stated by the clerk, and then we could vote on that motion.
So you want each committee done separately, or just go down the tally?
Yeah, just, I have the list too.
Yeah.
If you want me to read it off.
That's
Okay.
fine. So Councilmember Hyder for the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. 2 to the Flagler Schools Oversight Committee is Mayor Alphin and Councilmember Carly Pontieri. The Juvenile Justice Circuit 7 Juvenile Justice Council is Councilmember Carly Pontieri. River to Sea is Mayor Alphin. SMA Healthcare is Councilmember Hyder. St. John's River Water Management District is Councilmember Danko. Tourist Development is Councilmember Clufus.
So with that said, I would ask for a motion from one of my council members.
So moved.
I have a motion in favor of those appointments by Councilman Clufus. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second from Councilman Danko. Is there any additional discussion by city council members? Is there a need for public participation in this?
No.
Then I would ask for, let's do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Carly Pontieri,
Yes.
Councilmember Danko,
Yes.
Councilmember Hyder,
Yes.
Councilmember Clufus,
Affirmative.
Mayor Alphin.
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Congratulations to all of you, and we look forward to my own and each of our reports going forward as we go through the year. With that, we'll now move on to our final public participation this evening. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward and address our new city council on an item that has not been previously discussed. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome to our new council members. I'm hoping for a very successful year. I think you've got the opportunity to do that, as has been previously stated by others. Other than like my conversation earlier, which I will not repeat, I'm here as a representative from the county drug court and a nonprofit, the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation, which I currently am the president of. And it's just to alert particularly our new members of the council what's going on in our county, which mostly focuses on the city of Palm Coast. We are currently the 8th highest overdose county in the state of Florida, out of the 67 counties. Worse than that, we are the #1 overdose death county in the state of Florida based on population. And I'm sorry to say that the majority of our overdoses are in our city. They're not where most people think they might be. So I'm here just to make you aware that we have an issue. Want to work with any of the council folks that would like to work with that and see if there's anything from the city level that we can do to help this situation. It is obviously getting worse with the fentanyl issues that are coming to the country now. Overdoses we're finding as in our area as low as 11 years old and up to in the 90s. Country-wise, we just heard about that one baby in California that picked up a pill on the ground and had fentanyl in it. So it's an issue. We're thankful for our current sheriff's department, who's already confiscated enough fentanyl to kill the entire county. So it's here, and it comes through here because we are on I-95. And so a lot of that just enters into the convenience of the people traveling through. Why the pushers want to kill their customers is beyond me. But the fact is they don't care. And we have to work together as a community to have a better understanding of what's happening. And the people that are dying and the people that are suffering from overdoses are not all people that are in substance abuse. They're accidents, elderly people overtaking their medication. We had one incident at a nursing home where a lady in her 90s had a legitimate fentanyl patch, but it was beyond what her body could take, and thank God they had Narcan to bring her back. The Flagler County Drug Court Foundation was the first nonprofit in the county to have the grant to give free Narcan away, and our team is certified to do Narcan training. And again, we offer this to the city and any of the city departments that might want to have the training, and we have a grant that will cost the city nothing for the next 2 years at least. So thank you for this opportunity and hope to work with you in the future.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any additional members of the public that would like to address City Council? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. Dennis McDonald. Congratulations to our two newest members. Very nice to see you sitting there. And I hope that you are ready to start taking better care of Palm Coast. And in that light, I want to talk about what has been brought up tonight with the cell tower. I watched tonight people take an oath and say that they're going to follow the laws of this country and this state. Please be aware of the fact that this July, on the 29th, Judge Block, a very senior jurist, federal jurist in New York State, in the district in New York, okay, made a decision. And he said that municipalities and companies can no longer use the TCA from 1996 to indemnify themselves. Okay, now that's the Telecommunications Act. Okay, that involves cell towers. And there's much coming on 5G. Okay, and we don't even have 5G. You think you do, but we don't. Okay, and it's on its way, and it's going to have adverse health effects. All you have to do is go on Children's Health Defense Network, which is R.F. Kennedy Jr., who has been working on this for a number of years. So the bottom line here is the judge said that you're not entitled to use the TCA Act of 1996, okay, to indemnify yourself for what's going on with these cell towers if you're expanding broadband because broadband didn't exist. In other words, 4G, 5G didn't exist in 1996, so you can't possibly identify yourself with it. So this has created quite a stir in the legal community on both sides. And so I just want the city to be aware of the fact that this is going on, and also to be aware of one thing. Lou Vitale, who is the EMI expert of the world and who happened to live here in Palm Coast, and I had an opportunity to know him in the last 2-3 years, is one of my neighbors, said to me, Dennis, when you see the 5G spot on your phone, okay, light up, you don't have 5G. 5G isn't really here yet, okay? You won't start seeing 5G until maybe in the big cities until in late 22, but certainly in 23 it'll start to come. And Lou said, as the EMI guy that everybody looked to, when 5G gets here, you're not gonna like what it does. And so I want everybody to be aware of that, okay, and think about it, and I'll be back in 2023 and talk to you about the cell tower site that is existing right next to 2 of our schools here in Palm Coast, which the city presently operates that park out of. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any final comments from the public this evening before I close? Yes, sir.
Ed Fuller, Palm Coast, Honorable Dave Alphin, Honorable Vice Mayor Ed Danko, Honorable Teresa Pontieri, Councilwoman, Honorable Kathy Howard, Councilwoman, Honorable Nick Klufas. Wow, that really chokes me up to say that. Thank you all for running. You know, this is a spirit of Christmas, so I want to say something that I really feel. That project on Florida Park Drive that's finished cause for a jubilation. That is amazing. It has saved me so many, I can go now to Publix when I forget something and not cuss at myself for going around the Clubhouse Drive. Thank you, City Manager, and everyone involved with that project. That was a Herculean effort. I can't imagine how many man-hours there were put in that to make that right. And I also want to thank you for the unbelievable boat parade. I saw 80 boats of some of the most proud citizens in our city just rejoicing and having a great time. No accidents, no problems, and it went off without a hitch. I do have one complaint, I guess. I guess I have to take this up with you, Honorable Mayor. I didn't see the USS Gerald Ford. Captain Randy Stapleford assured me that it was going to be there, and it didn't happen. But I do want to thank you and everyone involved with that project. And the Christmas tree lighting, that's just amazing. We have a wonderful community. We have great people that live here and work here. We disagree sometimes, but we disagree respectfully and civilly. And I want to thank everybody that makes that happen. We've been through 2 hurricanes, and we survived. Go look at this town, think if we've just been through 2 hurricanes, and see if you really think we've been through that. That's because we have wonderful city employees that keep our city great. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you for all your efforts. Thank you for running, and thank for the people who didn't make it. And thank God you're all here tonight, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Any final comments from the public this evening to address City Council? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I thought that
Just
the
introduce yourself just for the record.
Bob Thomasy, Palm Coast. I thought the cell phone issue had been put to sleep because, of course, I haven't been here in a while. The problem existed when I was in my home state, and the council was in the same situation where there was some serious pushback from the people. who lived around the proposed site, and it was also pushback from the people who were saying we need the coverage. Now, I'm quite certain that the cell tower people are not picking a location at random. I think they're bound by law to cover the territory where there is a shortage of proper cell phone availability. What I would urge the council to do, as they did in my other town before I came to Palm Coast, is seek the services of an independent specialist so that they can advise you exactly what you're talking about so that you can move forward knowing that you are making a decision based on independent and proper advice. I understand that the neighborhood does not want a cell tower, the not in my backyard theory. I also understand that there's a certain amount of belief that the cell towers are unhealthy. I don't know the answer to that question by any means, and I think that there's a great deal of coverage from other law enforcement, other legal community that's going to address cell phone placement. But I would urge you to hire an expert to advise you what you're dealing with so that you can move forward with confidence no matter what. I understand, not in my backyard, but that may not be something that you can deal with because cell phone coverage is an absolute necessity in today's day and age, and it becomes a serious public safety issue because the majority of people do not have another phone. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Any other members of the public like to make final public comment to City Council this evening on any items that were not previously discussed on the agenda? Seeing no one come forward, I will close the final public comment section of the agenda, and I will come back to the dais, and I will ask City Council members, are there any comments that you would like to add this evening? I'll start with Vice Mayor Danko. Any final comments this evening?
I just want to congratulate our two newest members and thank them for all the hard work it took to get here, and looking forward to working with you. And again, I just want to thank Councilman John, former councilman, for his service up here. Thank you.
Councilmember?
Thank you. Yes, and I also want to just let my fellow colleagues know, and also the city staff, all the directors know that I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to making some really good, positive strides for our city, and I have every belief that we'll be able to really have a positive impact together. Thank you.
Councilmember?
I'd like to congratulate you, Ed Danko, on your new appointment as our vice mayor. I would also like to congratulate Teresa Pontieri on her new city council position.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank everyone here that has supported me throughout this campaign and the journey to city council. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone here on the Diaz. And I'd like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Council member.
I would also extend my congratulations to our newest members and all of the appointees this evening. I would also like to thank Councilman Finelli, a true testament. I can't think of a possibility how anyone could have done a finer job, and I'm thankful for you leaving Palm Coast a better place than when you found it, sincerely. I would also say to everyone out in the audience that it's been my honest belief that the success of our council is a function of our diversity, for our diversity of thought, and I think that we are certainly moving in that direction, and I'm looking forward to blazing the trail ahead and making Palm Coast a better tomorrow.
Very good. And I'll finish up. My colleagues know I'm rarely long-winded at the end of a meeting, but a couple things I think note. First, to the family members of past and present council members that attended this evening, bravo. I can't tell you how warm it feels to have you in the room to enjoy the success of your children, of your family, of all of those. So thank you so much for attending this evening. I also want to thank Councilman Clufus for understanding the mission of the City Council to spread the responsibility, to spread the wealth of experience throughout City Council. I can only hope that we will all collaborate as well going forward, so I thank you again for that. Finally, it will be my personal initiative to begin during the first quarter of 2023 a new engagement with our community. I will open up a series of city halls by invitation from our residents to come and visit at their home, in their driveway, in their neighborhood, with their family, with their neighbors, with their friends, to discuss a limited number of items on each occasion that are important to them. I think it is time that we increase the contact that certainly I have and that my fellow council members may choose to have with our residents in the city of Palm Coast, so we get to hear it firsthand, in the face, out in the public. Very important. Next, City Council was dedicated to the success of our strategic action plan. Each of the items in those plan, many of them having to do with both infrastructure, keeping Palm Coast as neat, friendly, and safe as we have all enjoyed for so many years, will be a priority and is woven within our strategic action priorities for the future. Next, we will pursue our legislative priorities. This is our turn to get our fair share from the state of Florida. City of Palm Coast residents have been paying into the state for many years. We have projects and opportunities ahead of us. We will fight to the end to make sure that we achieve our legislative priorities in cooperation with our county and municipal partners throughout the entire Flagler County system. And finally, we look forward to the biggest opportunity of all. We have the chance to build our next version of Palm Coast. We have that chance to take everything we love and add to it and make it even bigger and better for all of our residents, not just today, but for future generations. So I look forward to each of my fellow council members to support these initiatives and all others that you may choose to bring forward. Those conclude my comments for this evening, so I will now move to the city attorney. Any final comments for this evening?
I don't have any comments other than to say congratulations to our new council members. It was a pleasure meeting you today and being able to go over some very boring legal things. So thank you for allowing me to do that. And also to farewell to former council member Finelli. I just want to point out too that council member Danko and the mayor and council member Clufus did a great job in picking Councilmember Finelli as the replacement. So you should get some credit for that because he served very well. So thank you.
And we'll wrap it up with any final comments from our city manager.
I just want to echo briefly, I've heard the amazing support that we have going and extending to our Palm Coast team. And I think I could speak from our leadership and throughout the organization that we're exceptionally excited about the future and where we're going. And thank you, City Attorney, for making some of those really thoughtful and supportive comments. I just like to say I echo that. I do have a matter of business in nature. December 20th, we are proposing to council that meeting, and that's a city council business meeting. But we're actually, and this is a traditional approach, especially as we get closer to the end of the year and items start to slow down a little bit for business action, is that staff is proposing and has now posted on the city website that December 13th we'll start with a workshop We have a light agenda, and then go into a business meeting right after. And so again, canceling December 20th meeting, and I'll say that with a Merry Christmas.
Very good. Thank you with that. So with that, we often neglect, and for those that are attending the meeting this evening, the finest staff in the state of Florida is sitting immediately behind you, and they sit through every grueling minute of every grueling meeting. So if you get a chance, just turn your head and give them a little smile and wish them some of that holiday cheer. That, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
I have a motion. Do I have a second? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.